Have you ever wanted to have a good, healthy relationship that lasts? This is the second video in a three-part series. Seeing as I want men and women to be able to win at having successful lifelong marriages, I have consulted my wife for anything to do with women in this video. I felt I couldn't give you something balanced without addressing men and women. In the previous video, we looked at building up your filter so that you can filter out people you are interested in but wouldn't be good for you as a lifelong spouse. In this video, we will look at building a shared vision. A shared vision is a great preparation for both getting to know someone so you can apply your own filtering system, but also to set up good foundations for when you are ready to marry someone. It's important to note that this video assumes the idea of having multiple meetups with someone and getting to know them over time. Going heavy duty on a life vision on a first date could be a bit much. Focus on having a fun experience with a person first, before building a vision. In this video, we will look at two main areas: self-preparation for a shared vision discussion, a shared vision. To have better conversations about building a shared life vision, have a clear picture about what you want a lifelong marriage to look like and what your expectations for a relationship are before you enter a situation to have that discussion. You'll have your own dreams, aspirations, ideals, etc. The key is to work out on what things are non-negotiable for you and what things are negotiable. Too few non-negotiables and you could open yourself up to a bad relationship situation. Too many non-negotiables, you would rule out everyone. This is why you want to carefully select and prioritise. The higher the quality of person, the higher the standards you will have to meet in order for the other person to be interested in you. For both men and women, if your criteria for finding a long-term spouse is the same as getting something short-term and what you're doing is not working, then have a think through what a set of long-term criteria would look like for you. If your non-negotiables are changing depending on if you somewhat like someone versus if you really like someone, then you could get very hurt trying to give up something that is really important to you. As a guy, when you meet a woman you enjoy spending time with, once you have met her a few times and realise you like spending time with her, then start laying out a vision you have for a relationship, for marriage, for family, for fun in life. Ask her for her input in it. Ensure your vision isn't so rigid it cannot be adapted for a different perspective at all. At the same time, don't compromise with non-negotiables. If you do, it could create much pain later on. Over a number of dates, see if you can build up that shared vision. In this process, it will either show you both cannot work out, e.g. if one of you wants to live in Argentina and the other one wants to live in France as a non-negotiable, then you won't be able to make that work. Same on the question of having children or not having children, and there will be other things as well. As a woman, you will have your own vision for life. See if you can modify his vision with things that you have as a vision for your life. Ask questions to understand his vision more, the lifestyle he has in mind. Ensure you are clear on his values, the level of commitment he wants, and if he is dependable and keeps his word. Even compatible visions may not perfectly align, but the pieces can be slotted together like a puzzle. See if he takes an interest in your vision for things. See how he treats other people as your feelings develop for him, to see if he is a decent person generally or if he is normally horrible but only nice to you. Finally, before going on a date, do you have the kind of values and are you learning what a good spouse looks like for the kind of man you're interested in? Building a shared vision. Next, we'll look at the elements of building a successful vision. Dual commitment to making a marriage work, expectations for a good marriage, dealing with conflict, approach to finances, approach to career, healthy boundaries. Let's think about the idea of dual commitment to making marriage work. When it comes to making a lifelong marriage work, the first principle you and your potential future spouse need is a conviction to making a marriage work. You want to ensure that they love you as much as you love them. The question becomes, what about terrible situations, mistreatment, etc.? The first video goes through some ideas for filtering out those people as a prevention mechanism. The expectations we have for a good marriage are important in vision building, so that both people can get on the same page about what they believe a good marriage looks like. This can cause issues when people have very different ideas about what a good marriage is. Unfortunately, there are many bad cultural ideas about marriage. On the one end, you have the handsome prince who wins the princess, and it is all happy and wonderful. The idea is, if you don't have happiness in marriage, then you just walk away believing something is better around the corner. Unfortunately, the reality of this has meant people have wept after realizing they left good marriages thinking they could get something better, only to find they couldn't. On the other hand, on the other end of the spectrum, there is the idea that marriages almost never work and that they only lead to betrayal, and no one who is married can ever trust the other person, because either most men are like something horrible or most women are like something horrible. So a good marriage will have fun, difficult times with disagreement, easy times, a general progression towards a more enjoyable marriage as time goes on, with good and bad times along the way. Different cultures, religions, families can all have different ideas about what a good marriage is. So if you can build a vision with the person you are dating of what a good marriage looks like, then it means you can aim for the same thing. One of the best things to figure out for marriage is how to deal with disagreement on key decisions, or if you mess up and hurt each other. There is nothing worse for long-term marriages than things not said and seeking revenge on the other person quietly in the background without them realizing there is an issue, because you assume, since they are meant to be your ideal person, that they should know anyway. With any conflict, there needs to be three elements: something that is good about the person, the good outcome that you are looking to get to, and the issue that you have. Both people must listen to each other, check for understanding, summarize what the other person is saying. How you give each other thinking time is important. If you can agree your approach and have a willingness to forgive each other, then you have a good building block for starting married life. People who handle conflict well have different ways of doing things, but the point is getting a way to handle conflict as a great foundation to have. Forgiveness is an essential component. If any time you have an argument, you bring up the whole list of your history together of everything the other person has done wrong, not only will you emotionally hurt them, but you will make them resent you. See yourselves not as opponents, but as a team with an issue that impacts both of you that you need to solve. Another important element is mutual service. Both people need to serve and be served for a healthy relationship. One of the big ideas is the idea of a 50-50 split. This is rarely realistic and can create arguments. You want to understand what is important to the other person and explain what is important to you. Let me give you an example. If your spouse is ill, you might be doing 80% of things around the home. If you're ill, it could be flipped. You might have a spouse who is way better than you at cooking, and they absolutely cannot stand taking the bin out, but that is not a big deal for you. Working to your strengths to cover each other's weaknesses is an important principle. By agreeing what good service looks like to each other before you get married and serving each other in different ways, then you can have a clear measuring line for things and for revising things and revisiting that conversation depending on what is going on in your lives if you get married. If service is only one way, then the person serving will get very hurt. If there is mutually no service, you have a broken relationship or none at all. The next area to consider is your approach to finances. Can you build a vision for how you want finances to be managed? One of the big areas that mess up marriages are finances. If someone likes to budget, are they okay or not okay with taking on debt? Do they value saving money or spending now on the best life experiences being spontaneous? This is one of those areas that if you have a shared vision on, it can greatly increase marital success. Things such as birthdays, who pays for dates, etc. are also worth agreeing. Expectations for healthy boundaries. One of the important discussion points are healthy boundaries. One area is what you do and don't discuss about a relationship. Another one could be around time with friends versus time alone. Whatever you agree, you should have time alone with friends who are not exes, time with friends and family as a couple, time together as a couple only, and time on your own. Friendship with exes can be a catalyst for making historical issues present ones. Friendships with exes can be a catalyst for making historical issues present ones. Whatever boundaries on this you have, ensure they are consistent. Also, never accept a situation where the only person you can see is the person you're in a relationship with. It is one thing to change friendship groups or which family members you see, but no one should be in a socially isolated situation. Another important boundary discussion for when a relationship is more serious is about relationship intimacy boundaries. All I will say on this is don't think because you've seen something on an app or website that means the person you are with should be expected to meet the thing you saw on that app or website. As boundaries with this have gone so far, people are having expectations of each other that the other person is not comfortable with. Whoever you build a vision with, do it out of love and respect and maintain agreed upon boundaries both before and after marriage. When two people are married, having the conversation outside of intimacy time on boundaries, particularly if you have tried something new in the relationship, you already know where each other stand before going into a situation. Crossing boundaries in intimate situations can cause hurt, frustration, feeling unsafe, and could be criminal depending on what it is and the laws of the land. This is why you want to be clear on expectations outside of intimate situations. In this video, these examples are some examples of good communication to build a shared vision for life together. The more good communication and agreement you can build before you get married, the easier it will be to live out an exclusive lifelong marriage. I hope you can find the good spouse you want, as I consider being a better husband. Birds of a feather, we grow together.